And welcome to the new IT. Welcome to the new IT today. Brad, what's going on in the show? What's happening in the world of new IT and the world in general?
I don't know. You know?
I don't know. I'm just on it today,
Right?
man.
Just a little bit. I don't want to use that whole festive, Bobby, but I love the energy that you're bringing.
So festive, Bobby.
I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Maybe it is.
I don't know. I'm always festive, aren't I?
You are. That's like I said. That's the energy you bring. I love it.
Very good. What do we got going on? Well, who's in the show? Who's in the house? I should say.
We got an in-person guest. This is awesome. So
we love in person. Thanks, man, for being in the.
I know, right? Yeah. Actually coming in studio, being here with us. This is awesome.
Yes. So good.
So speaking of which, we have Danny from IXL. I know you guys were acquired. Well, Emmersion is who you came from, but I know you guys were acquired by IXL. Are you guys going by that name now, or is it official?
So our brand Emmersion will continue.
Okay.
As a brand of IXL Learning, and we will, continue to service the assessment, language assessment
awesome.
world. Yeah.
Okay.
So stay in the course.
Yeah.
Not shaking the boat too much. What works, even with acquisitions and stuff, you kind of try and keep it going if it's working, right?
Yeah.
And you just become a connection.
And
partnership.
IXL Learning, for context, they own Rosetta Stone, and so language assessments, language learning, it's a great synergy.
Exactly, right?
I didn't realize.
So, that's where I was going to ask him to go. Maybe tell us a little bit about IXL and Emmersion and kind of what that's like. But before we dive into that, I want to know a little bit more about you, Danny. Tell me more about you.
Yes.
Ooh, about me. I've been in the industry now for about 15 years.
Nice.
And I stepped into this role at Emmersion, which is in the last 2 years. So I helped to lead our engineering team. I've helped with IT. I've helped with doing all sorts of just helping from the nitty gritty of my word processors not working all the way up to, we need to implement a new system.
Okay.
And lived here in Utah for the last 5 years. And
where are you from? So are you originally not from Utah?
That's a complicated question.
Okay.
Utah's been there.
Yeah.
Right.
In the mix.
That's kind of what I got.
I grew up in Utah, but then lived in San Diego for about 7 years, and now we're back.
What part?
In Vista.
Okay, I know Vista. Yeah.
Vista.
I have family in Oceanside, so I get it.
Yep, my wife grew up there.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Yep.
So she's from there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Came back here. Business or just wanted to come back?
We had family here, and business was good here. So I went to Pluralsight for a while, and then moved to Emmersion.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And
Nice.
how did that work? How did you get picked up by Emmersion? Just what happened? What was the process there? I'm just curious. We like to know that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So the CTO of Emmersion had also come from Pluralsight and was implementing a lot of...
He's picking his people.
He is.
That's the way it's done, baby.
So I stepped in there to help out there to grow some teams, and over the course of a small startup, things change, and I actually stepped into his role. I wasn't the CTO, but I became the VP of engineering at Emmersion pre-acquisition. And,
nice.
And then he left and went on to other startups.
Yeah, because that's what you do.
Right.
That's what you do.
That is what you do.
When you're into the startup world, it's so fun.
Nice.
So how does it feel to be? I know what it's like to be in startup mode and how fun that is and exciting it is, and then during acquisition, the world starts to change and
Just a little bit.
There's a little bit of more corporate creep in there that you got to kind of, suit up a little bit more. How's that been? It's always different.
It's always very different. We're a very lean shop, very much focusing on what is that thing that we need to do right now and get that shipped to production within the next couple of days. They think a lot bigger, and both things have their place, and we're trying to figure out what our place is, and
it's exciting. It's fun. It's exciting. It is hard though. It's hard when that happens, but it also, especially if you go with it, you realize, corporate, they've been around a long time. How long? I mean, Rosetta Stone's been around forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
It's been
these
20
guys,
years.
they're doing something a certain way. They've kind of learned it. They understand how to grow, and scale and all of that stuff. And some startups, they're still trying to figure that out. So I think it's a beautiful mix, but it is hard work, right?
Well, not only figure it out. I mean, I think it's they're still just trying to. They have a mission that they're already trying to complete. And
right.
Okay, now how do we integrate ourselves into this process?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they bring us in, and we're kind of like lost in the dark. Like, where do we go?
Right.
How do we help? And we're really anxious, and so we were acquired back in September, so it's not been that long.
Fairly new.
Fairly new, not even 6 months yet.
Yeah.
And not even 6 months.
No.
Yeah.
And
4.
so it's been a really exciting opportunity to like participate in defining that future. And they're a really great company. They're very open, very much thinking like, what can you bring to us, and then what do you need from us? And so it's a great exchange between us.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love it.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Wow. This is we've just been talking.
I know.
Right? We haven't even asked any
I know,
questions or
right?
anything.
Well, I mean, we've asked questions.
Oh, well.
But
I meant, the questions.
Our normal
that
set
we
of
have.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, this might be a loaded question since you guys are kind of just still on the forefront of an acquisition, but how are you guys using the technology to be disruptors in your industry? I mean, can you maybe speak from both sides, from an Emmersion and an IXL, or do you really
Because you're an
know
expert
IXL?
now?
Right? He is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know everything.
Sure does.
Yeah, that's it.
Am I a teenager again?
Right.
Yeah, so true.
Absolutely.
17.
Oh,
man. If I was only as smart as I was when I was 17.
Right.
Oh, let's go back.
How would it be?
So Immersion, we are really focused on automated language assessments. So you think of, I want to learn how to speak Spanish. I need to be able to know if I'm doing it well, and I need to get that feedback really quickly. And so we are used in language learning for what I just described there, and that's a lot of that Rosetta Stone synergy.
Is that like an AI type of system structure?
Kind of. It's not. It's more machine learning on the back end for how we take your input and convert that into a score that represents your proficiency.
Got it.
It's based on the doctorate of Jacob Burtis, who is our founder. And what he studied is our minds, and I'm going to butcher exactly how it is, but our minds think in chunks. And the more chunks we can hold in a language, the more proficient we are. And so we keep learning more, and we can repeat back things. And so the way the assessment works is you hear a statement and you repeat it back. And the more complex the statement is, the more proficient you're able to prove that you are. And so we have that for English, we have that for Spanish, and it's used for language learning. And it's also used for hiring. And so you can imagine a call center. They go through how many different people. I've heard of call centers with over 400% turnover. It's incredible.
I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
And they have thousands of people they're interviewing every year. And so they use our assessment to be able to interview many candidates' language proficiency in the language that they need, and they're able to get that back immediately. Our results don't take hours or half hour. You're taking your assessment, and it's progressing along the way, and when you're done, you have your score right there. The interviewer has your score, and they're able to have a conversation about how that's your score.
So for
Interesting. So in real time.
overseas support and stuff like that, to see their proficiency and how they're going to act or react or talk or whatever. Is that?
Yeah.
Well, and it focuses very much on language proficiency. It's not so much like you're going to be a good medical, if you're going to be like in a call center for medical, like we're not going to assess if you have the medical
if you
skills.
know knowledge, but
you can
how
speak
you
that.
speak.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really important.
It is very important.
I mean, I think that's a technology edge in this day and age, I would say, to hire folks that speak the language that they support well.
And to do it very quickly. And many of our customers have commented on how much of an advantage they have over their competitors because of how quickly our assessment is able to react.
Because they don't have to
it's done in real time,
over and over, make sure they're a good fit. You can get that language barrier completely out of the way quickly.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Awesome.
that's cool.
I love
That's
it.
definitely a disruptor.
Just a little bit.
Ooh, I love it.
Nice.
So what would you say is innovative about what you guys do?
One of the most innovative parts about what we do is we have an adaptive assessment in our English assessment. And so what that means is instead of having a fixed set of questions that we always have to ask exactly the same ones, we're able to ask one question and then based on how well you do there, ask you a harder or easier question.
Okay.
And we're able to hone in on where you are very, very quickly. So that shrinks down even the time of our assessment, increases our accuracy of the assessment, and then opens up
less questions.
Yeah.
Ask less questions. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I mean, how long does it take somebody to do the assessment? I mean, are you looking at like maybe 2 to 5 minutes, or is it like a 15-minute assessment?
It's about 12 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
depending on how many questions you need to be asked.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can see that. We're always trying to figure out the best way to streamline things to get just a little bit more juice out of productivity or stuff. The race is on, it seems like.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
For every, and that's where we're at in the new IT. There's so much new stuff coming out there to just blow our minds. We're going to talk about that later, but
And that's why we're around, though.
yeah, that's why we're doing this podcast, because I think it's cool.
Right.
I love hearing from folks that are in the thick of it and doing that stuff. So
Absolutely.
thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I mean, what does the engineering team look like, or what does the team dynamics look like? I mean, how big's the team? What's it like? Is it still a fun place to be?
It's definitely a fun place to be. So our team is small. We have a 5-person engineering team.
Oh, wow.
A product manager and a UI UX designer. And so that forms the team. We have the team architect embedded on the team, which is a structure that is kind of similar to having like a tech lead or an engineering manager. Our architect does not have managerial responsibilities, so no HR responsibilities.
Okay.
They just do their job.
They do their job, and they work with their team to build the team to help them do the job.
Oh, so there's no manager?
I am the manager of the team, and so I do help to build up, but
they kind of
they're the ones that are in the nitty gritty. So I am separated from day-to-day work when it comes to development. Unfortunately, I miss those days.
Right.
Yeah, when you move to management, it's a different world. We've talked
really
about
is.
it many times on the show. You can be the greatest developer on the planet, but that doesn't mean you can manage people.
Exactly.
Right, and we very much see that as two different tracks. So we really want our architecture focused engineers to be able to do that work and to not be split half the time managing the people of the team.
Exactly.
And so
you want them to be focused on the
want
project.
them to be focused.
Exactly.
And they do their best work that way. And so we have that team, and we're growing that team right now so that we have a second one. One team will focus more on language assessment development, and one team will focus more on integrations, business development, how we focus on our customers' interaction with the product.
Nice.
Yeah, it seems like that's a part of the new IT, kind of that the ability to not just have micromanagement or those kind of things, but let the people do their jobs that you were hired to do.
Yes.
Exactly.
Very much
Isn't that a part of the new IT? When I think of the new IT, that's what I don't look at this, hey, let's put this guy in the corner and just tell him what to do all the time. You know, that's how it used to be.
Order takers.
Yeah, they're just this worker bee in the corner that doesn't want to talk to human beings because they don't like them. Those days are few and far between now. Would you say it's much more structured to where you got to be kind of a team and play well with each other?
I think that's where we want to go.
Yeah.
I think that's what we want to see
Maybe
the
that's
industry
what I'm
go.
looking for.
There's definitely a lot of companies, I think, that are still stuck in that micromanagement. We have definitely seen that with our engineers, they're happiest when they're given a problem. Well, our entire team, right? Our engineers in partnership with UI UX, with product, working all together to solve a problem. That's where they thrive. That's where they enjoy coming into work.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're coming together for a common goal to say, okay, let me do my part to fulfill this end goal. I want to contribute. I want to be there. I want to help out.
Yeah, exactly. And something that's very unique for us is that our engineers don't work in silos. They don't work individually on tasks. They also don't work in pairs on tasks, but they'll work in what we call a mob. A lot of people will call it an ensemble, depending on how you want to phrase it.
I like mob.
I like mob.
Mob programming. And so the way we think about it is we want to bring all the minds together to focus on getting work done rather than starting lots of work. And we want to focus on getting the highest value thing out to our customers as soon as possible. And a lot of that is also lean based. As I mentioned earlier, we focus on getting interviews with our customers, figuring out where their pain points are. And we find these hotspots, we focus on those hotspots while we're also doing other research, but we're developing solutions to solve those hotspots and not worrying so much about what is the ideal solution, but what is the next iteration? What's the next thing we can do to improve things?
Nice.
Wow, I love it. I like to talk about culture just because it's a big thing. Especially when people are looking for a job, looking for a place to be. We all want to be in the place where we fit the best. What would you say your culture is? What would you say, what does that look like from your standpoint, culture-wise?
Yeah, and culture is such an overloaded term, right?
It is. It's
it
so
means
bad.
so much.
That's why I threw it at you.
Yeah. So
you can go in 10 different directions.
Yeah.
For us, culture is having a process in place that enables us to deliver good value, great value to our customers. It's a team that's cohesive. It's people that want to work together and collaboratively. It's building an environment where we want to be together for that time we're together. We're with work way more than we're with family.
Oh, absolutely.
And friends. Yeah. And so being able to have relationships there that, we don't have to be buddy-buddy, but people that we are happy to be working with. Right. And so we have, lunchtime games. Sometimes we've done lunchtime group lunches in the past. And we're looking for new ideas for how we do that now that we have a parent company that works with us. So.
And do they do that? Do they have do you feel that the culture meshes fairly well, or are you just not sure yet?
I think there's a lot to learn still. It's really early.
Yeah.
So there's things that's like, oh, you don't do that, but then you have this other similar thing. And so how does it all map together? Right. We're still learning. So it's too early to really tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 4 months in? I mean, it's yeah. I mean, you're still on the dating phase. I mean, you still got to figure each other out. So I get
No, they got married.
Well, I mean,
they're
technically,
it's
yes.
newlywed. They're newlyweds.
Yes. Which, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
It's still happy times.
So going from culture, I want to kind of shift it a little bit more. For the tech people that obviously listen to this, what is the tech stack you guys are using, and what made you guys choose that one?
So we have a pretty simple tech stack. We have C# backend services, APIs, using, I guess, .NET 6 now.
Okay.
What is the latest .NET? It's changing so fast.
I think it's 8, isn't it?
It is. I think 7 is the latest. It's not LTS, and then 8 will be next.
Well, yes.
And so we stay on the latest LTS. We find that there's enough value there for us that we don't need to go flipping around to the next one. Yep. And then our front end is Angular. Again, same pattern where we move to the next LTS when it releases. The way we do that is we balance our work with our product team on what needs to be done. So we are pretty explicit about wanting a 20% time for engineering improvements, and we don't look at it as tech debt. We've kind of removed that word from our vocabulary, and we look at it as what is prohibiting value from being added to our customers. Security is a risk, so we have to do patches every month.
Right.
So every month we do patches. And every if .NET has a patch, kind of a thing.
Right.
And then we look at how we're structured in our system, and if something there needs to be improved, then we'll take off a small iterative portion of that, and we'll go and iterate on that and make that better. And so we'll do that for 20% of the time throughout the whole year, and that makes a huge impact on what we're able to deliver and what value we're able to add to our customers.
Love it.
Yeah, that's way cool.
So, if there's we like talking about different folks that are looking for jobs and looking for some tech jobs and stuff like that. What is the process for you guys? How do you find your people, and what's something that if I was looking, would I do to get your attention or what have you?
And I'm going to piggyback off that too and say, feel free to kind of dive in what the interview process looks like for you as well. Like, what should somebody expect if they are coming from if they make it to an interview process?
Finding people is the hardest.
Yeah.
I heard someone say recently, now that there's all these layoffs in technology, it's easy to find people. I'm like, where did you find them?
Right. It's not.
Where
It's
are
really
they?
not.
Because they're not in my pool of people yet. Bring them to me. So where do we find people? A lot of our people have been referrals. And we have a guest mobbing program where people are able to just come and check out, how does mobbing work? Let me just come see and get a taste for that.
Cool.
So we do that for about 2 hours, whether in the morning or afternoon. We'll work with the person.
And people come in remote, or they come
in remote. Yeah, so we have a hybrid team.
Okay.
And we have one person who's full-time remote who lives out of Utah, and then the rest of the team is here in Utah, but then remotes in half the time. And so we have people coming on site. We just had someone last week. We had people come remote. We just had someone today. And today's was an interview, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But part of our interview process is to have them guest mob with us so that they know what they're getting themselves into.
Ooh, I love that.
I like that.
That is very
It's more hands-on.
cool.
It is very hands-on.
They learn what you guys are doing, how you're doing it. You see how they react with each other.
Exactly.
Wow.
And
that
it's
is
really
great.
important.
That's better than
because
taking them golfing.
Is it though?
Well, okay, maybe that's...
Maybe I'm biased. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really important for us that it's a partnership between them and us, right?
Agreed.
If someone's going to come work for us, they need to know how we work, and they need to know it's good for them. We've had candidates come in and say, it sounds great, it's not for me. And then we've had other candidates come in, I was skeptical, this is awesome. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun to see how everyone reacts. And so that's one of the ways that we've found candidates is through that guest mobbing.
I would think that that's such a better way to pick people.
I would think so, yeah.
An interview process can only go so far, and everybody can look good in an interview, or bad.
Yeah.
Somebody could look bad that's actually a really good fit. Yeah.
Exactly.
And they just sit down and, hey, wow, this is great. We're working together. I love that, dude. Have we had anybody talk about doing that? I don't think we've...
I mean...
all the companies we interviewed?
I don't think so. Not to that extent. I mean,
love it.
I only know of one other company that does it, Hunter Industries. They're based in California. They're a sprinkler, industrial sprinkler company. And that's where mobbing originated, was from them and Woody Zool.
Okay.
And so we've actually done a guest exchange or mobber exchange program with them where we send them one of our people and they send us one of their people for a day.
Nice.
It's been pretty
That
neat.
is super cool.
That is way cool.
And so that's pretty cool. And you know, our guest mobber program, I should call out, is not just for people that are interested in working for us. It is for people that are interested in just learning about a new way of working. So you don't have to be wanting to come work in that environment. You can just come check it out. There's no strings attached, no need to feel like you're wasting our time. You're not. If you're learning something new, you're not wasting anyone's time.
So how often? A couple of questions here on
cool.
that. One, how often do you guys do them? And then two, when is this integrated into the hiring process? Do they have to go through at least one round of interviews and then you do this? Is this the last step? Take me through that part of it.
Yeah, so your first question, how often do we do it? We try to limit, unless it's for interviews specifically, we try to limit to one a week.
Okay.
At the max.
That's cool.
And
super consistent?
Yeah.
One a week?
It sometimes is. Yeah.
Does the time vary? Can anybody?
We're pretty
obviously,
flexible.
you know, everybody shows up, but how do people find out about
Yeah,
that?
I got it. Yeah, I'm interested
Like
to get on a
this?
Slack channel or what?
Okay.
I mean, how would they reach out?
How do they reach out to me?
Or anybody, to be a part
emailing
of that.
me directly right now is the best way to do it.
Okay.
And we can put my email in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And go from there. So as far as how we integrate into the interview process, our interview process, we've tried to streamline it to find the things that we care about the most. So things that we care about: are you going to collaborate with us? Can you do the job? And are you someone that we want to work with? And do you want to work with us in the way that we work? And so the first call is, like the typical recruiter will call and just double check, and then I'll have a call with them and we'll speak for 30, 45 minutes. Just
Is that where you do a technical rundown, kind of? Or is that
just
the
having
first
a
one?
conversation?
Have a conversation. So a lot of my questions, I look for what is how a person behaves in their work environment. Like, do they get really frustrated when something bad happens? Are they excited when something good happens, and why do they capitalize on that?
How do you do that in the interview process? How do you find that out in the interview process?
I ask questions like, what, give me an example of a time that was really hard, and, how did that all play out?
And you see how they react to the explanation.
And you'd think that's an easy way to just be like, oh, like, I'll give you my easy answer, but people are pretty
get
open,
into it.
and I love it. And sometimes it's eye-opening to see, okay, well, this person got a little more frustrated than I think I would want, but we can judge and see, like, is that a pattern? Okay, and if I feel like I need to, I'll ask another, like, give me another example of a hard time. And now give me an example of, like, a really big success for you and how that affected you. And then how did you build on that? And, how did these two interplay if they were at the same company? And
oh, those are great questions.
And that's what I love personally, and this is just me. That's what I love about the technology industry. Everybody is so open, and you can actually see, like, how somebody is going to react to certain questions. Whereas, other industries, sometimes people are really good at faking it. Mm-hmm. Now, this is just my opinion, but from the technology standpoint, software engineers are very honest, truthful people. They're not going to lie to you. They're gonna be straightforward with you. So that's a good indication.
Sometimes too much.
I mean,
TMI.
Yes, to a degree.
I love engineers.
Happens.
Hey, I love engineers. They're great.
Exactly.
They're amazing human beings. But they do think differently.
They do.
Let's just face it.
And we need them to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we need that's the reason they do what they do, is because they have brains like that.
Yep.
And I have complete and total respect for that kind of brain processing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after their call with me, we'll actually have a 1-day interview scheduled with them, and it's about 7 hours. And so they come in from 9 to noon and mob with the team. And we always have them do it Mountain Time. One of our constraints right now is they need to work Mountain Time. Just one of the things that we're in the situation of. And then after lunch, we have a pairing session, and this is where they'll one-on-one pair program with another one of our engineers and kind of do it's called a kata. It's an exercise where they're solving this problem that's very small.
Is it a part of Lean?
No? It's not part of Lean. It's more like a way of practicing your skills.
Like a kata, like in martial arts?
Yes, exactly like that.
Okay.
And that's where the name comes from.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so...
I was thinking Kaizen.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm all over the place, man.
No worries. And so they do this kata one-on-one, and that's where we really assess the technical capability of the individual. We're seeing, can they think through solving this problem? Can they think through what the code needs to look like? And can they think through, step by step? And while there's no way to assess perfectly someone's technical capabilities, we have found this to be a great proxy for technical ability measurement without needing to take hours and hours with people.
Agreed.
Wow,
that's
love it.
Cool. Yeah.
Man, that is legit. We've heard a lot of people how they interview and stuff, but I just really feel like what you've just explained, you probably get the cream of the crop of who you're looking for, I would think.
I think we do. Yes.
Wow, that is very cool. I hope people are listening to this. If there are any companies out there listening, I know we have a lot of folks that listen that are developers, but this is important because this, I believe, is the new IT. That is the future of how we're going to pick folks.
Agreed.
And that I totally agree on that. Like, we're all used to the whiteboarding questions. And,
yes.
And those
what
are
can
so
you do
painful.
Why should we hire you?
Brilliant.
Oh my hell.
No.
Exactly.
What's
no
your worst
what's your
oh geez. What's your worst problem?
Right.
Oh, boy.
I
I work so hard that I get tired. You're like, geez, anyway.
I'm too
Those are
nice.
such useless questions.
They
Anyway,
don't prove anything. It's like
they don't.
prove you read a book about interviewing.
I know how to do my job, which is thinking about problem solving. What do you need me to pretend to be an IDE for?
Right, exactly. Oh, so true. Okay, with that said, we like to. I like to ask this question. I say we. I like to ask this question.
You do.
Brad,
This is your question.
What do you feel like is the future of your guys' technology? What do you feel like? Where are you going? Where are you guys going?
Where are we going? I want to give you such a good answer to that. So,
no pressure.
This is going to be Danny's opinion. Right?
Perfect, because
nothing
all
from
future stuff
IXL
is
or Emmersion. Like this
right.
is just Danny's opinion. So what we find is that specifically in like language assessment area for us, people make mistakes. Humans make mistakes, and so the more we automate that, the better things are going to be. And that applies not just to what we do, but we see what Tesla's doing with semi-trucks, trying to automate that. And I'm not saying anything about whether industry should be upended or not, but helping to augment the human mistakes with systems that are automated is a very powerful way for us to, lift the human condition.
Change the world for good.
Yes.
For sure.
And so I see us participating in language learning more. I see us participating in building out better hiring pipelines. And I see people using computer-aided interview processes to improve their own workforce.
To a degree, yes. I mean, I do believe that there is a place for AI in the industry. However, so much of choosing a person to come to your team is so personal.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing that AI cannot replace is it's the personal touch.
And that's why I say computer aided, right?
Exactly.
AI aided.
Yes.
Because I don't want to ever be replaced.
Right.
And I actually think, ChatGPT, as much as it can write code, it's not going to do what
everything.
you need it to do.
Exactly.
And so,
There's some nuances there that it will never be able to get.
Right.
Well,
and even if it can write the code that we write today, that just means that my job will go one step higher. As a human,
exactly.
I'll just go one step higher. We don't write assembly anymore. We don't write binary anymore, right? We don't even write unmanaged code very often anymore for line of business applications. And so, what's the next step? I'm not scared of what that next step is. It's just going to aid us to improve and be better.
100% agree.
Big time.
I was going to ask the last question, but he kind of already answered that.
Yeah, but we should officially ask it because I like asking it. You already went there, but if we were going to think broader, where do you think technology itself is going? Not just in your company, but
I think we kind of got there.
yeah.
I still want to know what you think.
You got a deeper. I think
He
got
does.
a deeper answer.
I can see it.
The wheels are
Exactly.
turning.
So I look at where technology's at right now. Right, we're able to make fake videos way too easily.
Oh my gosh!
And not detect them.
It's getting crazy.
It's
bad.
Really bad. And
you can't believe anything. What you see, you believe. You can't do that anymore.
Right. And so we need to see an evolution in the human being able to detect what is real and what is not real.
Or we need another AI that tells us that we're looking at AI.
Yeah. I mean, you're not far off.
Oh, crap. We're in trouble, folks.
I mean, we thought Skynet was the only threat, but there's Skynet and then there's GoodNet, and they're going to go to war for us.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That we didn't. I don't think I've ever thought about that. It's always is this going to be good or is this going to be bad? There's never been hey, maybe it'll be good and bad and they will fight and we'll see who wins.
Yeah,
I've never thought about that.
I've never thought about it, but that seems a little more realistic that there will be a lot of good and bad intermingled, and hopefully they won't destroy the human race. But
I think there's a lot of opposition that will always need to exist. What's that? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
For every technology that comes out, there will be an opposite use of it. And, a good use and a bad use.
So true.
And I think technology itself will even will come up with technology that's good and then a technology that's bad, and those will compete with each other.
Except for the Tor network. Is there really anything good on there? We did a podcast. I did a podcast where we searched the Tor and we were like, can we find something good on the Tor network? We found some cat videos. We did find some cat videos, and they weren't tortured or anything. They were cute little cat videos. So that's what we found on dark web that was good. So we can't end on that note, guys.
But even peer-to-peer, right? Peer-to-peer can be enabled even more. Like we get Windows updates peer-to-peer now.
Yep.
We get game updates peer-to-peer. That's pretty awesome. I like that. So, while Tor itself maybe is sketchy,
the technology that drives it actually has some implementation that's a good thing.
Exactly.
I love it. Great positive attitude. I love it.
Absolutely.
This has been awesome, man. Thanks for being on the show. I know I've said that once. I usually say it 3 or 4 times during the show.
At least.
But this was good. I'm really awesome. Excited. To me, the standout was your hiring process. I just think the mob thing is such a cool, awesome idea.
It is.
And more companies should be paying attention to that. And I think they will. Don't you?
I really hope so. There's a lot of skepticism out there around it.
There always is.
And I think that
proof is in the pudding.
Exactly.
Yeah. And one of the things that people assume is that you compare apples to apples when you say, well, you're using all your engineers and you could have them all working on separate tasks, but they forget about all the intangibles. How much time are they spending spinning their wheels? How much time are they spending on PRs?
Exactly.
How much time are they spending on all the coordination that has to happen because they're all separate? How much time are they spending on doing merging of their branches because they have to do branch merging? We do trunk-based development. There's no merging of our code base. It's always just flowing forward.
And it's a fact that things aren't just doubled when you add 2. So one person can do this amount of work, but 2 people can do not just 2 times as much as one person, usually 3 or 4 times as much, if they're all in there doing the same thing, right? If they're all doing separate stuff, just like you said, then they're not using that what's the word I'm looking for? That multiplier that happens when you get this connection. When we build a house, one guy, it will take 5 years to build a house, but 20 guys could build a house in 2 months.
Right. We don't build houses 20 houses at a time, one person each.
Exactly. So I love that whole concept that you're talking about. I can't not see. Well, that's double negative. That's going to be a thing for sure. I love that we heard it on the new IT because I think this is the epitome of what's happening in the world today. Drop the mic.
Done.
That's awesome.
Thanks again, man.
Having said that, where can people go out to reach you?
Thanks, Brad.
Reach me. Yes.
Reach you or Emmersion or IXL, whatever you're being.
And we'll put it in the notes, but you go ahead and tell them to.
I am mostly present on Slack.
I had a feeling.
And on
Did you
email.
meet him on Slack?
I did.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. So I'm part of the Utah Software Craftsmanship meetup. It's on Slack, and also the Atlanta Software Craftsman or Software Crafters meetup Slack. And so you can find me on there. I am on Twitter, inactive at Danny D. Warren, and so you can tweet at me, and I'll see it. And
Nice.
And then I'll get you my email so that you can people can contact me if they want to come out and check out gas mobbing.
Sweet.
Awesome. I love
it. This has been so good.
It's been
Any
great.
last words, Brad?
No, I'm good.
All right, folks, you know the drill. You have been listening to The New IT. We'll see you next time.